please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Escorts has spiked up after the big run that we've seen. That stock continues to do well as we speak. But the other one that came out with a set of numbers is CONCOR. We have with us the CMD of the company who joins in to discuss the company's performance in the past quarter. Well, all right, I think before we do that, Escorts numbers are up for you on the screen, and that explains why, in fact, we are seeing that stock run away. So let's pull up the intraday chart. We have Escorts, it spiked up to the high point of the day. There's a growth of around 35%, which is looking very, very good. In fact, the stock is spiking up. The street likes these numbers very, very much. I'm trying to open the release as we speak.
Well, it's domestic, which has seen a growth of 33.4%. Export is a very small percentage, just 143 units, and that has gone up sharply at 74.4. So on the whole, this looks like a pretty decent set of earnings, because on a YTD basis, the company's sales growth has been 12.7%.
Absolutely.
So which means that this month there has been a pickup. Of course, tractors would generally pick up in the monsoon season, you know, when money comes in into the rural hands. But I think 35% seems to be like a fairly good number. We'll get Naveen in, but for now, the street seems to be liking these numbers. Naveen, how would it compare with your expectations?
Escorts didn't have a specific expectation in terms of the markets, but still it's a big beat, because remember two things. One is that pre-GST, there was a lot of confusion, especially among farmers, regarding what will happen in terms of the prices. But remember, the GST rates were more or less similar. So that headwind has been gone off the head. So that might be one key reason. Also remember one important point, that the company has also told us that till June, especially in quarter one, they saw a lot of disruption, but quarter two will be compensating for the overall numbers. So that the company had alluded to us twice. So that is also one key point to be noting. As you pointed out, yeah, normal monsoons might have had a good push on the overall sales. But if you see last year also, the key markets, that is North and West for Escorts, they have seen normal monsoons in the last year. It was South which hadn't seen much of rainfall. So in terms of rainfall, it didn't act as a catalyst. I feel the biggest catalyst will be because in the pre-GST period, there was a lot of holding back of sales that the company had done in terms of from the farmers. So that might be one key reason why we have seen a 34%.
What was the Escorts sales numbers in June, if you remember?
The fall was close to 17 to 18%, in the higher teens, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it had declined. So basically, it's just normalizing for the sales which got deferred on account of GST from the prior month.
Yeah, and the company has also told us that Q2 will be seeing the compensating effect of that.
Yes, we've spoken to them recently.
Yeah, just 2 days back post the results, which again the margins had jumped over there and realizations had improved.
They had indicated that they're looking to beat the industry growth rate. Yeah. So Escort numbers are good, but basically making up for the lost sales of June on account of GST.
So we have all beats today, I think. Most of them
barring maybe Ashok Leyland and all the other three. Yeah, which was more or less in line, but the other three have been a big beat.
All right, Naveen, you're the lucky charm, looks like, for the auto space. The numbers look quite good. Let's wait by for the other big ones. Mahindra, I think we should expect those numbers as well.
Anytime soon, yeah.
In the next 1 hour odd. But as promised, let's get chatting with the management of CONCOR. We have Mr. Rama, the CMD of the company, who joins us. Hi, sir. Sorry to keep you waiting. Sir, we're just addressing some news that did come in there. But first things first, congratulations. Splendid set of numbers. We were working with a top line growth of around 5%. You have come in at around 10%. If you could help us out, sir, what was the volume growth in the first quarter? And also, if you could help us out with what kind of a realization growth did you see, sir?
You see, our volume growth is around 16%. It's at 14.5% to 15% in the first quarter. The volumes combined, EXIM and domestic. So as you just mentioned, top line has grown by 10% and our bottom line has grown by around 37%.
Can you break up your volumes into EXIM growth as well as on the domestic side?
Yeah, and EXIM it is around 10% growth, and EXIM and domestic side it is around 24 to 25% growth.
Okay, 24 to 25. Can you maintain this sort of a run rate? What are the trends looking on volumes for the coming months and quarters?
You see, we are actually expecting around 12% growth on enterprise side in the volumes as well as in the top line. So the domestic, as I was mentioning in earlier interviews also, there is a lot of containerable cargo available in India in the domestic sector. And I am seeing certain trends that where more people are opting for containers. So that actually is giving good push into the domestic volumes, more or less, because our share, when I look at market share, we maintain our market share in domestic. So there is a lot of circuit building we did, and we are able to pick up good growth in this because of our less empty running, which was happening now.
All right, Mr. Rama, you said you were talking about your domestic market share. What is the domestic market share? And if you could just clear out what kind of a growth are we expecting on the top line for FY18, if you could help us out with that number. And also, sir, I wanted to ask you, what's been the impact of GST? Has the transition been smooth?
Yeah, transmission is very smooth as far as the taxation and the accountable party is concerned, and as far as the business is concerned, the things are under control, and it's too less a time to analyze it further. But there's nothing to worry.
Kicha?
It's just we spent 1 month in the GST post. I'm telling that the business side, there's nothing to worry. The things are under control.
Right, sir. Wanted to know your market share, sir. If you could help us out with that number.
Yeah, domestic, we are having market share of around 64%. When we talk of this market share, it is of the rail-bound traffic which is happening today in India. On the container side, we are having 64% with us. And in EXIM, we are having 76%.
Okay. Your margins have improved this quarter compared to the prior year at 22.4%. Yeah. What led to that?
Yes. You see, there are 2-3 things which we are doing for last 3 quarters, and we continued that trend. One is that double stack running we are doing quite a bit now, and our emphasis is on double stack running. And then there is, as I said, in domestic we build up some circuits wherein we are reducing the empty runs, and in EXIM also the empty running has come down. So our savings on empty running cars, and then our improvement in domestic and margins in domestic as well as double stack running in EXIM. All this put together, our margins have improved very well.
Okay. Just hold on, Mr. Rama, if we could just take our viewers through the Tata Motors July auto sales numbers. Total sales have gone up by 7%, of which domestic sales are higher by close to about 13%. Again, I think it's a case of numbers normalizing from the previous quarter, because in the month of June, I think Tata Motors sales had declined by close to about 3%. So some compensation coming through this quarter around. So 7% total sales, 13% is the domestic sales, and I think exports have fallen by about 36%.
All right, then so that's about Tata Motors, but let's get back to chatting with Mr. Rama, the CMD of CONCOR. Well, sir, I wanted to ask you another quick question, if you could help us out. You added new capacities, I think, in the domestic business. What have your capacities moved to? And if you could help us out, how much of that positive impact has already started playing out? Because I think your domestic volumes, domestic revenues have jumped up by more than 30%. Can we maintain this kind of a run rate?
We are expecting something around maybe 15-20% growth in domestic. Maybe that's what. Actually, this 30% is because some push in the pre-GST time, particularly in June, there's a lot of movement happened. So now it may stabilize, and let's see. As I said, the overall growth I'm looking at 12%, but on domestic side, yes, we are trying to work on these things. And see, particularly again, I'm mentioning the same thing. The circuit building is very important, wherein instead of doing point-to-point running, we try to build on circuits, because we are present at many locations. We are present today at 72 locations, 68 of our own and 4 exclusive tie-ups. So that helps us in making this more effective and give better solutions to customers.
All right, sir. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in, detailing those numbers, and congratulations on a strong first quarter. I'm sure that your investors want you to continue to keep up the pace, and let's see how FY18 goes up for you. That's management of CONCOR. In fact, the stocks still are holding high with a gain of around 3.5%.
Just one estimate that I have for Tata Motors sales. I think Nomura's estimate was at 44,000 units. So that's just a growth of about 2%. In comparison, the company's delivered sales of about 46,000, a 7% growth. So compared to the Nomura estimates, there is a pickup in their sales.
Okay, then we'll slip into another short break. You come back, we'll shift focus to our commodities segment. Stay with us.